Are we live? Not sure yet. For some reason. Yeah, we're live. Awesome. Today I'll go without music so I can use the audio of the video without worry afterwards on YouTube. And I haven't yet set up my streaming properly to split the audio of music and microphone separately on the recording. But anyways, that aside, this time the streaming is not gonna be for front-end work, although it's gonna be very related to front-end work because it tries to solve a front-end and design issue, which is about building a style guide. And my idea is to try and make an app that is going to be used by the designers to set up the style guide, and that app is gonna provide the developers the variables and assets, well, not assets, but mostly variables for the application. And I want it to be equally useful to the designers so that it's visual as it is to the developers, so that they literally get code back. And it's not like the Figma code that you see over here on the right, like this stuff, because that's mostly useless. But instead it's an actual CSS that you can utilize. And it's not going to be CSS like this without the font family. It's going to be just the value on the right, defined in a variable. So now I'm getting a warning that maybe the bitrate is low. I hope it's good. It's visible. So what I want to do now. First, let's take a look at a few style guides just for reference. What do they look like? I want to make something that's visually useful so that we can make the designers follow it, to use it actually. And this is pretty good actually. It showcases color palettes, fonts. We will skip the icons because there's no useful way to set up the icons that I know of. There are components here like tab bar and buttons and avatars. And I'll think hardest about how to get this working. And I'll also set up and this grid system also gonna be here. I'll set a small goals. Okay, let's do a copy of this and write down goals. And definitely not gonna work in 108 pixels font size like this. So what we want, by the way, yes, Figma does support list items, must be usable. So in the end, if neither of the two sides like it, or one of them doesn't like it, then the tool is not going to be used. So we need to find solutions to both sides. Provide visuals and editing capabilities. Provide output code generated from the design style guide. So what I imagine is like a two-section thing. On the left side, we have the visuals, which is basically static. You won't be able to even click on elements here. That's my goal. And on the right side, we're gonna have editing, which is basically the variables part. like this. Ooh. And what I would try to do is work out a small part of the visuals and then see how it can be edited. Once this is done, we are going after this. Actually, let's make it not that big. After this is done, we're gonna get an output that I'm not yet 100% certain on what's the best way, but it can be the CSS properties or theme.json, because I am mostly thinking of the context of WordPress here, and the theme.json is a way to read variables in a JSON file that can be used when you implement your website. And this also includes colors like this, a set of colors actually, which are inside this palette. I'll zoom in a bit, so maybe a bit small, that are inside this palette, which is the name of the color and the hex value. So one of the two. I don't think mixing the two would work great, although it's not impossible. And yeah, actually it does make sense. So, because here we have the color palette, gradient palette, layout size, which is totally doable, spacing, which is again totally doable. This is gonna be ignored, I think, aside from maybe font sizes and font families. And technically anything else can go into custom. And that way we have a single source of truth, which is the theme.json file. And it's gonna generate for us CSS variables like those. So we're not even gonna be generating this. We are basically gonna fill in the theme.json with all the values here, which we're gonna take from what is filled in on this panel, which is visualized on this panel. And all of this gives an output, which is a text area that you can copy paste in your file. That's it. And just because it'd be awful to lose all of this, it's gonna be stored in local, what was the name? Local storage. This, and we also can give it an input, which is the theme.json file. That way, when it's implemented, it's gonna read a JSON file, which, what better? So we get something like this in the end. Those are the general bigger goals. And the cool thing, oh, and we can have a light, dark toggle here at the top, so that each variable that you edit here will contain option to set up. It's gonna have an alternative version that's working for light or dark, and this is gonna be a decision by the designer to apply here. So let me see that. Yeah, I think everything is correct in terms of audio. Alrighty, I'll first start with the visuals. We'll keep this as it is and go here to work on the app design. Like this. One thing that comes to mind would be the overall layout. What I'm trying to do is to talk of my thinking process. I usually don't talk when I work on stuff like that, so it's a bit weird to me. First thing, I'll take a look at inspiration, a few designs. I don't save them. And one reason I don't want to save them is because I don't want to look at them too much. I mostly try to glance at stuff so I don't copy it in the end. Like this is nice, and just an overview. This looks nice. This I don't like it. This is fine. Oh, I like this style. Okay, let's see this, by the way. It says Google. Okay, there's more. There's this. It's more like a case study. It feels, although this here is definitely the style guide. Looking at it, this part definitely drops. It's not what we are looking for. The logos also drop. It's not what we are looking for. Assets, again, completely ignored. We don't care. We just, anything that goes in is a value in a variable. If we can store this as a CSS variable, it goes into the UI. Color combinations could go into it, yes. And technically, this would make sense with the color combinations, like a color palette, if we feed this into an SVG that reads from them, similar to how Font Awesome does duotone. Like here, they allow you to give the two colors, the dark and the light, to get the icon you want in the end. It's a very powerful effect. But I think it maybe works just with opacity. Not sure. Oh, yeah, it does work with colors. There it is. The primary, secondary color. Let's see here as well. I'll sign in. Yes, that's me. I'll zoom in again. This looks nice. There will be images because we can set the image border radius at least. We could even give a shallow style as well. Okay. Let's start with the front view. Maybe like this. What font to use? Inter is very awesome font. Was this a Google font? Yes. So I'll just use it. I love it. It was by default because I use it elsewhere as again. And I think we used it on Yanka's design that we built on the previous stream. Yes, it was Inter. Okay, start a new project. We'll center this. I wonder with what kind of style to go with. Something bold and no, maybe that's not a good idea. I don't want the UI to mess up. Actually, what if we feed the style settings into the UI of the app as well? That way it's all gonna look the same. Oh, that sounds interesting. Oops. Just setting up my desk properly. All right, let's reduce this a little bit first, like this. And let's see something lighter for starters, just to see how it looks like. If we get this color here, like this. Maybe like this. I really like light schemes, and I'll mark this as out layout. I very much hate the difference in height, top and bottom, but it's gonna be the same on the front end anyway, so I'll keep it as it is, and I'm not gonna bother with components here for now. I'll just increase this a bit more to 6 like this, and let's say style guide builder. Okay, something very simple. Start a new project like this, and at the bottom, or load older existing one. Definitely should be the same size. 16 medium. Okay. I'll keep it very basic for now until I get to feel a bit more of the style we can work with. But what if I'll just test something real quick? One cool way to work here. So I have my design at Full HD, so I can write it literally here. Then I can reset to the zeros, and then I can come here and subtract 120 from here. Then also minus 120 here, and I can push it 60 and 60. And technically, this is gonna give me a perfect size, as long as you're okay with doing the math part. Maybe 16 here. This goes to the back. It's pure white, and let's see with this color. Oh, that's awful. I don't like this. It's a bit better, and I don't like those colors. The color scheme. Woohoo. I don't like this color scheme again. It just doesn't look good at all. Let's try and move things a bit. Add some little text here. I'm still not building the whole thing yet because I want to kind of feel the idea of it, like how it can look like. Create. Generate CSS variables by building a visual style guide on the web. Who cares what it says? 150, the wrong field. Come on. 1.5, does it work? Nope. It has to be 50%. I thought it could work. They should make it work. And make it black, and this is gonna be now dark. Like border, left aligned to this. I'll lock the selection. Place this maybe here in the middle. Move this a bit more to the top. It's too separated. And imagine we may end up with some cool screenshot of the UI over here on the right that we can showcase or something. Too light, more like this. I still don't like this button. What if we swap the colors? I like the dark. Okay, I prefer this. We'll go with it. I can imagine some cool pattern on the top left, maybe even like SVG patterns. something. Oh, this is nice. Maybe I hate the UI. Black, white. Come on. Don't tell me about the black, white, download, unstyled. Is this gonna work out? Yes. And now, because it's an SVG, copy as PNG. That doesn't work, I think. I'll paste it here, image, tile, remove, and I'll use it like something like this, with a second overlay, which is a linear gradient from top right to bottom, top left to bottom right, all white, and this white is going to be pure, fully white. Come on, 100%. And one of them is not going to be this. Yes, and I'll reduce the opacity, something like that. And we can scale that up and it's going to be visible. On top, something like that. And I imagine here coming out from the bottom, like from out here and here, the different designs that can be even skewed to the side. But since we are not there yet, I'll just keep that in the middle. All right, let's see on the right what we get. I'll remove this and this. I'll still keep this empty space. I want to maybe have one header at least, like here at the top. Style guide to builder. Oh, colors, nice colors in Tailwind. I love stealing colors from here, which are those colors. For example, this for the text. Ooh. Okay, like this. And what we can also do is get us 32 pixels. So this is going to be by the y-axis, like this. One more. Yes, 32 pixels on the side here, and the same on the other side, which is, come on. Oh, actually it's again 31. Come on. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, you can actually play anything you want in the meantime, not to listen my music choices, because they're not always very listenable, I guess. No grids, remove the lines. Okay, this is nice and visible. And here on the right, we can have an export button. Let's use this for now. Like this, but we're gonna reduce the paddings. Padding, that's like in the middle, yes. So it's gonna be 20 by 12, 20, 12, something much smaller. Oops. Yes. And that's not gonna be in this color. This is black, but this is not black. Maybe it's with a stroke. Like this. I now don't like the bottom line. Let's see with something slightly different. What if I take this color and actually use it for the background? And now I can use this maybe. Okay, actually I would also prefer to use this shade for the borders as well. But what would we have here? Is there anything that we can set? I don't know. What also, let's see if I can make this look better. That's a very bad thing now, but if we reduce it to something like this, which is probably not visible on the stream, add a second shadow, blur it less and reduce the spread, then push it a bit down and reduce the opacity again, more like this. Now we have two shadows and it's a bit more at the bottom. I don't like the left part, but let's not care about this for now. Yeah. And we'll not care for this part as well for now. I'll just lock this again. Now let's do the left side where we can see some colors. Like this. The spacing here is not much, but if it's like this, I kind of find this difference weird. Unless we literally increase it like that, then it doesn't make that much problem because it's like twice bigger and you feel it's different. It's not connected. Let's keep it for now, at least over here. I didn't mention I'm streaming. I should probably share that. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is also nice. This here kind of showcases the font and all the characters of it, so that's nice. And we can do something like this to split the label, and now I can easily make it much smaller, not to take that much space. Push this and use a color for the border. Let's see how this looks. Yes, that looks nice. Colors, and let's do an example. Oh, let's use a nice number by 64. More like this. Okay, we increase the border radius to 6, and I'll use a demo of those colors here. I'll pick the 500 value and call this primary. Like this. which is this value. 14. Let's make this 14. And the colors are gonna follow, oops, again, our 700. Does it make sense to add something else? Nope. For now, let's keep it going like this. Oh, let's try and make this into a component. It may help. 32. Secondary, which is gonna be this green. Like this. It's a weird color scheme, I know. And then we're gonna have accents. Oh, this color scheme is awful. And that's gonna be again this. Yes. Let's use this. I can't watch it. I can't say even if that's better. Anyway. Let's skip it. So if we get this for colors, is this some weird bug? Yeah. If we get this for colors, then how do we edit and remove or add new ones? So one way is to add the plus to add over here, but then you are editing on the right, come here to click plus, then go right again, which makes zero sense. So we're gonna have the editing experience here. Oh, what if we move this like this? I can calculate this, minus 32 is the height. And I move it by the y value, minus 32. Yes. And now that didn't make sense because we did nothing useful. I can just do this, and the height is minus 12 and the y is plus 12. And now it should be nothing. Minus 32. Yes, now it's better. I didn't calculate something. And here again, I'm gonna use something small, like 6. So this is gonna be our edit panel on the right, and this is our view panel, which doesn't change. And I'll push this up again, like this. It's aligned into nothingness right now, so you can ignore this. What if we just remove that and go like this? I'll go with this for now. Okay. So if we are editing colors, we need to make sure that should we see everything on the right all the time? No, there's no need. We can use toggles. I think that would toggles be too much? Maybe not. Yeah, okay, so if we have the colors here, it's going to be 16. And I'll do it like this. So that's one of the toggles. Then we can have a second one, which is going to be typography. And you can expand them to see it. Is this annoying? Yeah, it's kind of annoying. We're not gonna do it like this. I don't want to make people do so many actions to click all the time if there's no need to click, especially. So we get this. It should be in the middle. In the middle of this element. I'll zoom in a bit, and with Alt and Shift, center. Okay, so far it looks still very boring and annoying, but I don't worry too much about this yet. I want to also make sure it's useful first. Oh, that's ugly. To make sure it's useful. All right, let's not confuse myself and keep this here. So we have colors, and those colors are basically something like color primary, like this, which gets a value like this. Now, how do we turn this into editable stuff? You can technically just double click here and then double click here and you're done. But is this what we want the designers to do? There should be no mistake in how to edit. So we can have a left part, which is the label, and this is hard-coded, and a right part, which is the value. Yeah, so we can have color. That's not important. And that's gonna be in something like this. Primary. Left aligned. Maybe width column, and on the right we get the value. Like this. And to make it finalized, we add this in the end. Now, what happens when this is longer? Do we push it on the right? No. Or maybe if we add this here, color, label, value. And this is in, I think that's a good indication for both the designers and the developers. Maybe. So we get this, and that can easily be longer. I can't imagine the value being too big, so I'll use the space for the label, like that. And this comes more to the left, maybe. Like that. Let me see it better. Okay. So actually I should share this again, maybe it's elsewhere. I can't even see my laptop from the microphone. Okay. Okay. So this is what we want to get. This is how we may get it. Then let's add, let's make this into a component on its own so I can edit easier. Duplicate again, 1M spacing. This is gonna be called secondary. Oh, now the naming is an interesting thing. Because this is an input. And it can have predefined it can have auto-suggested values to pick from, which are like primary, secondary, accent, tertiary, whatever there is else. We can find good names, but the user can still fill in whatever they want. That would look nice. So I'm not gonna add this for now here. Let's have one more. This is our accent. And yeah, what I meant is that I'll have to use capital casing here. Oh, yeah. Which is this value, and this value is over here, and apply it as a background. And this is gonna translate to this. Label and value. Let's use this here on the right and not give it too much focus. And now we can have add new. I'll duplicate this, make it smaller. No, I don't like this. Let's use remix icons. I like them. Add. And both of these are gonna use this color. I should be editing component. Edit. Nah, can't find it. Anyways, I get this color 0 like this, and I'll look into a lighter shade. And the reason I didn't, is this contrasting enough? Yeah, oh yeah, we have this actually, contrast checker. Okay, select a frame, check the color contrast of, oh, wait a minute, I'm getting blue light filter right now. It just turned on because it got 8. Check. Okay, so I select. Wait, what? I select all of it? Yes. Yeah, that's obviously a problem. And this should be this element. I doubt it's something else. And what if I recheck? Now it passes. Oh yeah, now it selects the text. Got it. Undo. But now it passes the check, so we are good. And I'll use the same color over here actually. And it should not be black. So now we get the colors on the right as editable. And we'll make it like this. I just feel like it's very boring on this side. Let's give a quick look at some ideas for dashboard. Well, it doesn't have to be interesting, actually. Even it should not take the attention from what's important on the left. It's just an input. This looks nice. Huh. Something, maybe because I'm not done yet. See what I'm listening to. Oh yeah, that's good. Now, just a quick one. You know what's a bad UX? This. Oops. Come on, like this. Oh, place them next to each other, click reset, delete everything you've done. Oh, no, that'd be awful. Okay, so if we have the colors, then we can next have font size, font. This is gonna be right aligned like this, and it's gonna be wider like this. So for the fonts, actually, does it make sense to be able to pick just the color variables if you want to copy just the variables here that you get? Yeah, let's see if we have an icon there. Maybe like this. But both of those are gonna be with reduced opacity so that you can see them only on when you hover. That'd be nice. And this element, I just don't like it. Let's duplicate so I can make a few adjustments and see how it looks like. I will unlock this at the bottom. I unlocked the wrong one. Yeah, over here. I want to work here. I'll unlock it. I'll remove it. Now I'll use just pure white, and it looks way worse. Come on. What am I missing? Something obvious. Well, I don't have a header, that's for sure. I like this style, but I don't have this type of content. Wait. No. Wait. Do I have it? Actually, this part is basically this. So if it goes like that. And yeah, let's increase a bit more to 16 maybe. I'll use white. Then for the background, I'll revert to this and get it here on the left side as well. Something like that. That looks a bit it's weird, but I'll increase a little bit this padding here, maybe. And yeah, we can move this out like this, so that we have just the focus on the inner elements here. And it's gonna be with small padding on top. And now we have that extra space here. There's still something with the background that I just don't like. If it's gray, or maybe because I have almost nothing done yet. But one of the problems for sure, now I'll switch the colors here. Just something more contrasting. Does it make sense to give a name? Yeah, and it's just a tool, so like colors, not this one, but it's again a tool. You see, I don't want the tour, come on, skip. It also kind of looks weird, especially on a big screen. See? Or maybe color hunt, which is much better. Now this looks good. I can steal from this, I guess. This here on the left could be this, my focus, and I have this on the right. Okay, let's see how this looks like. So I'll remove those, I'll duplicate again. I'll remove those panels. I'll use white color. I'll decrease the size to maybe 16. And I can, for now at least, remove this. Maybe like this, because the color is selected. Left aligned for sure. Like this maybe. Let's actually do a grid here, because I want to figure out what's going on. Center with 60. More like this maybe. And now I can, yeah, that's actually the space. That's not enough. I can easily use a bigger grid. With less gutter. Maybe like this. And now this part comes over here. Like this. Let's say like this. I can edit, go to main component. No. Some more. Is this kind of better? Yeah. And maybe just slightly to the left. I'll ignore that left part. Anyways, I don't like it. I don't like this. This looks a bit better for me, at least. Maybe like this. Now, how does this look like? I think it's better. Could I even remove the input borders? Or this would make it a bit too much. And is there enough space here? because I can always actually do it like this. Like this, basically. So we have the values on the left side, which is in the grid here, and editing on the right side, and you can add as many as you want, but then you end up with a lot of empty space anyways. And if that's converted to a grid, how it looks like. So you can have primary in 16, and then the value, which is EF, for example, like this. Oh, yeah, let's use a monospace here, monospaced font. Huh. Oops. Let's add the labels. Add some extra spacing. Now this is the editable area, and this is our output. What if, yeah, that's the more important. I'll keep it on the left. Nice. But I'm not sure about the font family. And the color is definitely off as well. No. Yes. Huh. That stays on top. And we have the add new as well here. But there should be a remove option as well. And that's gonna show up on hover. Maybe I'm not sure if that's an X is a better close, maybe. Times? Was it times? No, close. Times I think was in Font Awesome. And by the way, I'm not happy with the design so far. Oh yeah, I'll just keep it for one of them. Oops. I'll just keep it for one of them on hover. Let's see. Push it a bit down. Actually, let's use a header like the style guide builder. Oh, can I use this? Look at that. Style guide, builder. And then we have the export button on the top right. And we'll push this a bit down like this. The export button is literally into nothing. I can do like an overlay footer. Something like that, maybe. And maybe I said I don't like toggles, and I'll definitely keep it all open by default, but maybe we could have a toggle, which is this. Over here. And it's always going to be open, like open by default. And it'd be good to have a search, really. What did I do? I refreshed. Okay. The idea is that you can search both just to filter quickly to get the color, or actually name the value you're looking for, or like primary or stuff like that. But I'm not sure about the search, really. I'm gonna keep it something like this for now. And this is gonna be like not that big, with the proper color and like this. Yes, regular. Okay. In terms of simple tool, I'll log this. The options we have are this UI that I started with, this variation, or this one. I think this is the better. This I don't know about, but I'll keep it for now. So next, if I want to create a second one, it'd be something like font sizes. FSZ, come on, what am I doing? This is a weird looking. Better. Label value. Oh, and when you hover here, this could change to showcase how it would look like, so that you know if you add space, how it's gonna look over here. That'd be interesting. Let's remove this. So we have micro, and that's gonna be 10 pixels, and I want to use pixels, not M values. No, we'll have to have globals as well, and globals would be your base font size grid font, the name, font family. And what else? That's maybe it for now, because then you would set the font size here in pixels, but it's going to be automatically converted into rem value that will be gotten from the global value. Yeah. Maybe we can do this. But then if you want to use a different value, you can, the developer can decide this. Micro, small, normal, and let's add a few more. Oops. Yeah, naming. And those are the values for font sizes that we can have, but are not the headline sizes. So UI font sizes. There is a difference between the two. What was the whole thing? So we get this in 12 pixels in regular. That's going to be the default. And on the right, we have 12 pixels. Or should it be on the top? No, let's place it on the bottom. And it's funny how the explanation down is smaller. Do I have something different here? Yeah, it's black. I keep getting the wrong color. Let's change this as well. Do we have some other black colors? Yes. Done. Now we have no black colors here. Nice. Just checking how we're doing. Let's add one more. This is the 14. And I don't even think there's point in like this. And I'll push those properly down. Something like this. Now remove it. So now, in a way, the designer names the sizes. Obviously, it doesn't have to, but can. And the values. Then you hit export, and you see all of this generated into CSS variables. And if you want, you can do the same, but provide the CSS variables to see the style guide. So you can preview, as long as you follow the same naming convention, you can preview the style guides in a page like this. And this could be also built into projects. It doesn't have to sit separately, but what I'll try to do is build it, if I like how it ends up looking like, to build it in a next app and host on Vercel for use. With starting MVP of just outputting the variable names, nothing more. Okay, so what else? Let's write down a small note. I'll move those two out of the way for now. Over here, let's see. We have, let's zoom in a bit more. Colors, font size UI, font size. Actually, I'll do it like this. So those are global colors used on the site, including all variation. Like this. Then we have UI font sizes. Then we have heading font sizes. What I mean by the second part is basically if you set a H2 tag with nothing on it, should it look differently if it's directly in the body versus directly in the content? What else do we have? Global values includes like global font size to calculate rem values, font name, font family actually. What else did we have? Grid, media queries. Although kind of makes sense to have the grid and media queries into layout. Grid media queries. I think kinda global still goes here. Well, does YouTube, does Wikipedia use variables? That would be a wild guess, but no, it doesn't. Well, which site? Let's see, Google. Nope, just Google. And down here, maybe if I check a color. Nope. Maybe analytics. It's gonna log me in. I don't want. Okay, it's gonna log me in. I accept. No, I want the sales page. Yes. No color variables. CSS tricks should have. Yes. Plenty of them. WordPress. So there's the preset colors, which are named colors. That also makes sense, by the way, and it's up to the. Oh, those are gonna be a bit tricky. Gradients. Let's not support gradients for starters. There's the font size. Is there anything else that uses variables? Like this grid gap. There's the gap. So there's the site width. It's gonna be in the grid. Gap as well is there. No. Font weight, line height, those are also global values, but we don't care for now about them. Anything else? No. Smashing magazine. No. Wow, uses columns and rows and containers. Interesting. I thought they don't use it. And values. No. Oh, shadows. Let's add shadows. Cards, buttons, etc. that are reusable. And this style guide kind of ignores lists, for example, stuff like that. Although, should it? Yeah, it probably should ignore some of them for now. Although in the future we can have that, because what we can have is this view, which is the global settings, and then you can go into component. Let's try this. I'll duplicate this and see how it looks like. Global mode. Like this. Which is the selected one. Yes. Let's use this color. Both of these are not going to be black. Definitely not both, although I would use medium here. Give it some more space. And this is components. Like something like this. Yes. Oh. Maybe. Damn, I'm getting hungry. This may have a better place. It does have definitely a better place, but I'm not too sure where it is. I don't like this, but let's see if we add a small line. Usually not a fan of this. And what if we just remove this? Nah, that doesn't make sense. I want it to feel like a toggle, like this. Click here, and changes everything below. And the idea is that this is basically the whole website settings, but you can get in detail. And here on the left, we can have the different types of components you can build, like a card, button, pop-up, input field, and then you can add their properties as well. And each component will have its CSS. Oh, that's getting complicated. But it would work technically. And each component, the component's CSS settings would sit in the global root as well. And it's up to the developer to use them and read from them. And some common UI elements could have their CSS already written, and they would read those values here. And it's going to be basically whatever was designed. And if you have a layout built with consistent markup that follows those practices, you practically just set up everything here, click export, copy the CSS, paste it into your settings file, and boom, you have a new theme basically. So that's like a theming, a settings page. Yeah. As long as the markup uses and the styles use those values. That's like, let's see, Bootstrap. I haven't checked that in a long time, but I remember they had this. Technically, if you go to themes, now that's different. Social network, not social network. Which social network does that look like? But anyways, like if you say this is built with Bootstrap and uses all the Bootstrap UI elements, then those elements use CSS variables to be styled. The theme itself doesn't write CSS; it only edits the values of the CSS variables, and that's it. But I'm not seeing if they have this setup to like download before a long ago. Compiled source files, examples. There was a way before where you can set up your values and download that source. Let's see. I want to see the GitHub page. Okay. They should, for example, card. There it is. That's what those values, basically this, is what we're gonna get in the components. And then you can use them down here. As you can see, they're used everywhere. Containers. No, that's different images, different nav. Again, there it is, the spacings and everything. And if you have this code written already once, that follows it, and you generate the new values here and just paste those numbers and everything, you should get the updated design. Obviously, that doesn't work all the time because you have custom designs and everything. But it's at least a good visual representation of what you get. And instead of doing this artboard in Figma, you could use the app to actually do the same thing, literally the same thing, but also give the developer option to copy paste the values as a single click. And that's it. And now it's up to the developer to decide what to do with it. Variables, now that's what I wanted to see. Oh, 1600 lines. But there it is, yeah, like a button hover, button border radius, small and large, and that's why we have this plus button so you can add them. And this reminds me that we're gonna have borders. Border radius, width, color, that's it. Now that's Y and X. Yeah, that's top and bottom, I see. Okay. You can call this block and inline. Those are nice. Tables, yeah, all of this. Font weight. I'll use this. Those are their color options. So you can imagine all of this. If you copy it, come here to the import button. Imagine you have an import button. Paste it, you'll automatically generate all of this here to preview. And you can edit if you want. And then the developer just click export and get, again, that same thing. The one above. Wow, there's escaping, come on. This is not something we need, for example, but this is. And I see the spacing here is by multiplication. But yeah, it's twice this, then twice this, then twice this. If you go down, you can rewrite this a bit differently, but so you can just set the ratio. Here you don't set the ratio, you set the steps. You have to calculate the ratio using pixels. And what I'll try to do is to replace the need of pixels, because we're gonna have these global values, and even if the designer sets pixels here, they're gonna be automatically converted to RAM values. That's the idea. So there it is, like they have RAM values here, but use pixels here. We can equalize this. Yeah. So I'll be definitely interested in how the components is gonna work out in the end, and how we can add new ones, because we'll have to be able to add. No, maybe there's no point in adding new yeah, there's no point. There's no reason to add new components or new colors or like global ones. All of this is hard-coded. It's already here. You can decide to fill that in or ignore it. That's it. So we have the color, layout, shadows, UI, font, heading font, global, borders. What else do we have? Font weights. Yeah, those are in the font related stuff. I'll just move this down. Actually, I'll move it like that. Font weights. 100, 200, 300, etc, whatever is supported by the theme font. And see, the font values are tricky, and now that's where I would wonder if it makes more sense to name, like if this was the font weight, this would be like normal or light, what you get here, those values. And this here is like 100, 200, 300, because there's no point in providing the value in the label. Doesn't make sense to me. The separator, for example, it's up to the developer to decide where to read from. So yeah, I think that's the idea. And I will come back with the next stream to add one more. I'll try to find which one feels most complicated, but basically it's always the same, because you have label and value, because that's what you get in CSS. You can't have anything else. And the cool features would be the auto completion here of commonly used values. And then to build the different components under this one. This is going to be an interesting UI. That's what I'm going to try to do. So yes, if you've watched the video, thank you very much. The stream was quite empty. Literally one person joined a few seconds ago and left. So I was, the stream was just the actual video recording, I guess. Yep, thank you for watching. And before leaving, I just want to remind, we do have a Discord channel over here, Design and Front-End Space, which is linked in the description if you want to join and discuss what we're building and streaming. And see you on the next one.